Story 1. Take a real audit of everything you are eating in a typical day, including meals, drinks, and snacks, and identify easy places where you can cut calories. Story 2. Portion control. Many comments suggest eating less, but few explain how. You do not need to skip meals or change the food you eat. You just need to eat smaller portions. Portion control is the way to achieve this. For example, if you sit at your computer and eat chips from a large family pack, only willpower stops you from eating them all. However, if you pour a smaller amount into a bowl and put the rest away in the cupboard, you will only eat what is in the bowl. The same applies to ice cream. You do not need to give it up. Just put 1 scoop instead of 3 in the dish. This works with healthy food too. Instead of 2 heaping spoonfuls on your plate, put 1 smaller spoonful and store the rest in the fridge. Eating fewer calories is the goal. Then you can focus on eating healthier. Breaking bad eating habits is more important initially. Remove the opportunity to eat unlimited portions first. Also, drink water. Contrary to popular belief, it does not fill you up or replace food. However, if you drink a glass of water before eating, it will help change your eating habits. Drink the whole glass in one go before taking a bite. Drinking plenty of water is good for you, and once it becomes a habit, you will start to feel better overall. Story 3. Walk everywhere. If the places you need to go are too far, take walks during your free time. Put on a podcast, audiobook, or some music and walk around the block or to the nearest park. Story 4. Do not focus on losing as much weight as possible in the shortest amount of time. It opens the door to eating disorders. Focus on doing it in a healthy way. Cut out some snacks rather than meals. If you create a calorie deficit by simply not eating, it will be worse for you in the long run. You will gain the weight back when you return to normal eating. Weight loss takes time. Do not rush it. Please stay healthy. Story 5. Absolutely stop drinking alcohol for those who do drink. For those who do not, start going on walks, even just for 5 minutes a day at first. Get your body moving and create that habit. It will grow and eventually lead to daily exercise. Then you can focus on changing your eating habits. Make sustainable changes one at a time. Story 6. Use an application to track your calorie intake. Once you make that a habit, you will see results. Weight loss is calories in, calories out. Many people make it more complicated than it needs to be. I lost 30 pounds in 2022 by mainly tracking my calories and staying in a calorie deficit, with not much exercise at the time. Story 7. Consistency. If you spend time researching and crafting a meal plan, workout routine, or whatever your plan is to lose weight, stick with it. Story 8. Walk. I've lost more weight from walking my dog than I have from the gym. It's crazy, but when I was working fully remote, I would spend about 90 minutes a day working hard at the gym, and the scale wouldn't move. Now I work out 60 to 75 minutes 5 times a week and walk my dog for an hour or so a day. And I am the slimmest I have been in my adult life. Also, basal metabolic rate is a variable. It isn't a static number. This can make calorie deficit tracking difficult. See a doctor if you're having issues. The fitness inspiration community had me believing hypothyroidism wasn't real, and I actually had it. Story 9. Download the Lose It application to track every calorie. It is effective. Exercise does not matter nearly as much as diet. Story 10. For me, the things that helped me go from 220 pounds to 140 pounds, stop drinking soda. Get really into a hobby that burns a lot of calories. For me, it was road cycling. Have some form of accountability. Someone who will call you out if you make too many mistakes. Learn to cook instead of eating out. If you do eat out, make it consistent so you know exactly what you are eating. For me, the same Subway or Chipotle order every time. Then some things I advise against that made me bounce back to 180 pounds after 4 years of keeping it all off. Do not get too good at cooking, or you may have to force yourself not to eat too much. Do not get coronavirus disease. Do not let your family and doctor shame you for losing all the weight and getting in shape. Do not let a longtime friend betray you and send you into a 6-month depressive episode. Do not let your family guilt you into sacrificing your health to provide care for your aging grandparents. If you get a dog, Do not let it guilt you into canceling your workouts. Story 11. Go to bed early. First, you will not snack at night, and second, you will have better energy throughout the day. Story 12. You cannot outrun a bad diet. It does not matter how much you exercise when you can easily out-eat it. Story 13. I started following a 16-hour intermittent fasting rule. I finish dinner by 8 p.m. and do not eat until 12 p.m. the next day. The body starts burning stored fat only after 10 to 12 hours of fasting. If we eat before that, the body will burn recently eaten food instead of stored fat. This practice has significantly helped me reduce my weight and made my mornings feel more energetic. I am not a medical professional, so please take this information with a grain of salt. Story 14. This will not work for everyone but did for me, worth a try. Get your body used to not feeling full. Just eat until you are no longer hungry. Be very mindful when you are eating about each bite you put in your mouth. Every couple of minutes, think, am I still hungry? Most people are no longer hungry after 8 or 9 bites. My body got used to having fewer calories, and I actually noticed I felt unwell if I ate until I was full. Cut out as much snacking as possible. Story 15. Every time something like this gets posted, a bunch of oversimplifying people come running out of their homes. Calorie deficit, they scream. You lose weight in the kitchen. Exercise isn't as important. Which, yes, kind of. I guess if we lived in an oversimplified world where everything exists in a perfect vacuum and there's no need to consider the diverse issues that affect weight management, from psychology to nuances in human physiology, sure. But we don't. Weight loss is extraordinarily complicated. If it were just eat less, there'd be no issues. But this is like saying gamble less or drink less or do less heroin. It fundamentally misses why the issue exists in the first place. So, from someone who lost over 110 pounds 15 years ago and kept it off, let's talk about tips. 1. This is a psychological issue as much as a health issue. Overeating can sometimes happen due to obliviousness. I thought Whoppers were healthier options because they were flame-broiled, but it was also a byproduct of depression and anxiety. One of the first places I recommend for someone struggling with their weight is therapy. Figure out underlying issues that may be contributing to overeating. If you can't afford therapy, that's okay. Start by doing research on mental health and documenting your thoughts and feelings. Don't self-diagnose, but try to understand a bit more about how to cope with anxiety and depression. Exercise helps with calorie management, manages mental health, and improves overall health, including strength building, improving bone density, and cardiovascular well-being. These are factors in weight loss. You're trying to get healthy, not just look better. Make a diet plan. Intermittent fasting can be useful. I knew that I was a snacker, so I planned out 4 to 6 meals a day, each about 200 to 500 calories, keeping in mind I am 6 feet 3 inches tall and have different calorie needs than a person who is 5 feet 8 inches. Plan meals with foods you like that are rich in protein and fiber, as both fill you up. Remove some of your condiments. A 400-calorie sandwich can hit 700 to 800 calories if you add mayonnaise, cheese, and butter to toast the bread. It's harder than calorie deficit. If you're struggling, it's okay. It's not easy. I had to change who I was as a person, going through mental health care and developing completely new habits to lose weight. Don't read oversimplifying threads like this. My research involved years of getting into exercise science, nutrition, and a better understanding of addiction and mental wellness. Story 16. Always overestimate calorie intake by around 20%, as most people underestimate how much they eat by that much, assuming they do not have an eating disorder. Either way, if you overestimate, it will not harm your goals for weight loss. Story 17. The primary lesson I learned after losing 150 pounds on Ozempic is that a calorie deficit plus protein and fiber is essential. I eat 2/3 fewer calories today, and I am still slowly losing weight without Ozempic. Story 18. Stop drinking calories. Swap soda, juice, and creamy coffees for water or plain tea. Make no other changes and watch the scale shift. Story 19. Skip breakfast and drink water with meals. If you think you are still hungry after a meal, wait at least 20 to 30 minutes. It takes longer for your brain to realize you are full. Story 20. Once you have reduced calories, eliminate all forms of sweetness from your palate. The research is still undecided on artificial sweeteners and insulin response, but it is not even about that for me. I find that when I consume sugar or artificial sweeteners, it makes everything else taste worse. Healthy food just tastes better when you do not have sweetness in your diet. Story 21. The book Atomic Habits is a game changer for building better habits with both exercise and diet. Definitely check it out. Story 22. If you have self-control, choose single servings of the food you enjoy. It makes tracking calories easier and helps you have more control over how much you are eating, but it also means you can enjoy what you want. I loved single-serving chips. Story 23. Learn to find comfort in hunger. Feeling hungry is not a bad thing or something you need to fix immediately. Eat when you want to, not every time your body asks for food. Story 24. Water. Stop drinking soda. Replace everything with water. It is the easiest way to passively lose weight, about 10 pounds easily. No extra workout needed, just stop being addicted to sugar. Story 25. Portion control is important. You rarely need to change what you eat, just eat less. Do not go for seconds, avoid large desserts, and do not eat junk food between meals. Most people would be fine with these changes. You may not be as fit as if you exercised, but your weight would drop to a healthy level. Story 26. Do not eat anything 3 hours before bed. Then skip breakfast and only eat lunch, followed by dinner. You really do not need more than this. This is plenty. Story 27. Carbohydrates are the devil. I lose weight much faster if I stick to meats, vegetables, and fruits. Carbohydrates are wonderful, but I use rice very sparingly. Breads and pastas always hinder my weight loss. Story 28. How are people still asking this question? What's next? Optimal tooth brushing strategies. You know what to do, just do it. Story 29. Just walk more and replace soda and sugary drinks with diet options. Park farther away and enjoy a diet soda or a zero-calorie alternative. Story 30. The following is what felt best and worked best for me. Get a trainer. Work out. Work out without your trainer. When I say work out, I mean lifting weights. Get strong. After a little bit of that, it was much easier to manage the food side of things. I was still overweight, but I felt amazing. I felt strong. Confidence went up. In that mindset, making good food choices felt more impactful. For me, it felt like I was benefiting from those choices today and not some vague time in the future. I had a stronger body I wanted to take care of today, not meet some goal weight 6 months from now. Story 31. Okay, aside from the advice to eat less and move more, which has been covered already, plan your treats. It is okay to have something a bit indulgent now and then, but plan when you are going to have it and then stick to it. Do not have anything extra. The moment you start allowing yourself treats on the spot is the moment everything will start to slip. It is far too easy to fall into the habit of justifying why this one thing or that one thing will not hurt, but it all adds up. Story 32. Caloric deficit combined with strength training and some cardio is effective. I have found that too much cardio increases my hunger, so it's important to balance and eat high-volume foods with lean protein to feel full. The biggest factor is calories consumed versus calories burned. Adding exercise is beneficial, but the most important aspect is to choose activities you enjoy and can maintain consistently. Even just walking is sufficient if that is what you have access to and can manage. Story 33. Be patient with yourself. Takes time. Also, gradually change a few bad habits or establish good ones. Tracking everything you eat along with portions is a good baseline to start with. Find a process that works for you and that you will stick to. Story 34. Credibility. I once lost more than 60 pounds in 3 months. Stop eating excessively. Diet determines 90% of the outcome. As someone who has jogged 5 miles per day in phases, exercise only makes a small impact compared to diet. No amount of exercise a non-professional athlete could maintain can counteract a bad diet. Hunger is more subjective than it seems. Just as your body adapts to varying temperatures throughout the year, it quickly adapts to different food amounts. If you restrict yourself for 2 or 3 days, eat small deliberate portions, and avoid snacking, you will find that your cravings lessen and you feel full after smaller meals. Stop eating excessively. Story 35. I went gluten-free and lost about 15 pounds. It's amazing how much changes when you cut out all the fillers and extra preservatives. Gluten-free food is not great, but I have never felt better. Story 36. Listen to Jack LaLanne. Exercise is king, nutrition is queen. Put them together and you have a kingdom. If man made it, do not eat it. You cannot get rid of fat with exercise alone. The only way to get that fat off is to eat less and exercise more. Story 37. I tried a few things before I found what worked for me. I did intermittent fasting for a while. 16 hours fasting, then 8 hours eating. I skipped breakfast and ate between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. However, I ended up feeling tired. Then I decided to cut out sugary drinks, which made a big difference. I completely eliminated several hundred calories a day. At the same time, I was lifting weights and building muscle. By doing both, I dropped 30 pounds over several months. On paper, my body mass index says I am obese, but I definitely don't look anywhere near that. I got my body fat down to about 12%, give or take. My main tips are to stop drinking sugary drinks and lift weights with the goal of building muscle. At this point, your challenge may become not eating enough to meet your new caloric demands. Keep in mind that everyone is different. You'll need to adjust your diet based on your fitness goals, but building muscle gives you more options for how to tackle it. Story 38. Edamame is high in protein, high in volume, and low in calories. Diced frozen chicken from Target. Diet soda as a sweet treat. Story 39. Keto. But sustainability is still an issue. I have lost a lot of weight on a ketogenic diet multiple times, and I am currently at my highest weight ever, 265 pounds. For me personally, I think there needs to be more information on how to transition from the discipline of a life on the ketogenic diet to the discipline of someone who eats healthy every day without a diet. Once I have followed the ketogenic diet for a couple of months, I feel like I am in control. I can take a cheat day whenever I want and be back on track the next day, no problem. Once I quit the ketogenic diet, I am like a child who loves sugar and has no concern about the future. Story 40. Meal preparation, along with what has already been mentioned, such as maintaining a calorie deficit and monitoring what you are eating and drinking, is proven to be effective. Story 41. Increasing the amount of vegetables you eat. A while ago, I started to replace most of my grains with vegetables, and I could eat much larger portions with fewer calories. I lost a significant amount of body fat without having to go hungry. Story 42. The scientific answer is calorie deficit. What I did, and in my opinion everyone is different, was really just avoid unnecessary sugar and carbohydrates and increase my cardiovascular exercise. I found out that my body seems to be very bad at handling carbohydrates, especially bread. Story 43. GLP-1 medications help lower your appetite, but they are not a permanent solution. Your body eventually becomes tolerant, and you need increasing doses, similar to most medications. Use the time you are taking one of these medications to retrain your eating habits. Story 44. Stop snacking between meals. Drink the recommended amount of water every day. This helps if you ever get hungry. Even if you dislike exercise, walking 1 to 2 miles every day helps. It is easy once you set your mind to it. Story 45. Watching what you eat is important. You can work out all you want, but you will see very little progress, if any, compared to being on a calorie deficit. Story 46. Cut out the sugar. Someone once said to me that most people gain weight gradually over time. A candy bar's worth of extra calories adds up quickly over time. I have always struggled to lose weight, and I am doing really well by having a weight loss partner. We have a bet running where we each put $50 a week into a pot with Monday weigh-ins. The first to hit 205 pounds claims the pot. This is working well for me because if you do not think doing it for yourself is enough, then the competitive yet supportive motivation really helps. The money aspect puts an actual realized cost to quitting. You have to look at yourself as a person as well as the food you are eating to understand what is working and what isn't. These days, I suppose the number one tip is a glucagon-like peptide 1 injection in all honesty. It is ironic that now I am losing a decent amount of weight. I feel the need to say I did not use it. Story 47. Breakfast. 1 toasted sourdough bread spread with guacamole and 1 scrambled egg on top, seasoned with salt and pepper. Lunch. 1 sourdough bread with peanut butter and jelly and an apple. Dinner. 2 small slices of chicken breast, broccoli or peas or any vegetable, and rice or cooked sweet potatoes. Depending on activity levels, I may add a granola bar. At the end of the day, it's all about your diet. I have been able to maintain a consistent weight between 105 and 110 pounds. My meal plan is my number one weight loss tip. Story 48. Along with all the tips about being more calorie aware, you also need to be honest with yourself when determining your daily calorie intake. If you have ever used an online calculator to get an estimate of your basal metabolic rate, you will see they all ask for your general activity level. Most people should probably select sedentary. Do not deceive yourself about being more active than you are or choose an optimistic activity level. Base your daily calorie goals starting from the no activity level. Eat more on days you actually work out if needed, but those should be increased days, not days when you reduce intake because you did not work out. Story 49. Follow a calorie deficit and eat plenty of protein and fiber. Follow the Canadian Food Guide. I have lost over 50 pounds in 7 months by eating less and choosing better foods. I have been changing my habits and choices over time to keep it sustainable. Do not wait for someone else to do it for you because that will never happen. My therapist has been helping me with my eating disorder, specifically binge eating, and recommends the Canadian Food Guide. She also recommends the Bulimia Method by Richard and Ollie Kerr. You can find the audiobook for free on Audible. It has useful tips for changing your eating habits and mindset. Story 50. Use Macrofactor and take your time understanding what the categories mean. Take your first week or two just tracking everything you eat. Then move on to trying to get your proteins in. Then balance your fats and carbohydrates. Then you can start to focus on the more detailed macronutrients. After a month or so, you will have a better understanding of what you are doing with food. Do not jump right into a diet. Learn how you operate today before you make changes. Do not go fast at first. It will work out well if you start to change your lifestyle and let yourself eat how you want to. You will still end up eating less sooner than you think, because it is natural to start thinking about what you are putting into your body. I did not get fat overnight, and I am getting better over time. Macrofactor was the app that worked well for me. Your mileage may vary. Pick the one that works for you. Story 51. Eat less food. If you are still not losing weight, eat even less food. Using a smaller plate helps. Everyone is looking for a magic trick, but the unappealing truth is that if you lower your food intake below a certain point, it is impossible not to lose weight. It is not fun and you will be hungry a lot, but you are guaranteed to lose weight. There is no need to complicate things with fancy diets, meal planning, meal prepping, or calorie counting. Just eat smaller portions of the food you already consume. I have done it, and I lost 50 pounds in 3 months, going from 220 to 170 pounds. You do not need to be that extreme. I cut my food intake by about 75%. It is difficult, but it is all willpower. Drinking water and taking fiber supplements helps with hunger pangs. Talk to your doctor before you start, and avoid weighing yourself daily. Seeing your weight increase can be discouraging, and your weight will fluctuate if you weigh daily. Weigh yourself once every 2 weeks, and you will see consistent loss if you have reduced your food intake enough. Story 52. Any drink other than water adds calories. Calories consumed versus calories burned is the only effective way to lose weight. Story 53. Discipline and perseverance will get you farther than any fad diet or false information you hear or read online. Stop with the fancy, flashy stuff. Take action and be quiet. Story 54. No snacks, no juice or other sweet drinks, no alcohol, just relying on bicycle up to 15 kilometers. Nothing made from dough, no convenience food. Story 55. Losing weight is not hard. Keeping weight off is hard. That is why you cannot just go on a crazy diet. The weight comes back. You need a diet that you can stick to for life because a diet is a way of eating, not just a way to lose weight. Story 56. Take the stairs whenever you can. I regained a lot of fitness when I changed jobs. For a while, I worked on the 16th floor of a high-rise building and took the stairs down whenever possible. Story 57. My number one tip for weight loss is to not try to lose weight. The best way to regain weight is by going on a diet to lose weight. You have to change your mind. You must set everyday habits to achieve and maintain the physique you want. You cannot diet for 2 months, reach your goal, and then return to your previous eating or exercise habits. Being fit and healthy is a habit. Story 58. No matter how great the first serving tastes, the second serving does not taste as great. I avoid second helpings for that exact reason. Story 59. Determine your maintenance calorie level. Reduce your daily calorie intake by 300 to 500 calories. Achieve your goal. Story 60. Do not try to change your diet all at once. If you try to do things too suddenly, you will just bounce back. Small incremental steps are the way to go. Story 61. 50 pounds down. Instead of counting daily calories, try to cut 1,000 calories out of your week. And holy psyllium husk. Story 62. Do not eat after 8 p.m. and do not make up for the fact that you will not be able to eat after 8 by eating more. Yes, I am guilty. Story 63. If you think you are hungry for a snack, eat an apple. If you do not want the apple, then you must not be that hungry. Story 64. More calories need to be burned than what you put in your body. Make sure you increase your fiber intake when adding more protein to your diet to avoid digestive discomfort. Also, know that losing weight will not automatically make you feel better in your skin. Remember to prioritize your mental health as you lose weight. Story 65. Walking. Eat your vegetables first. You will not feel the need to snack anymore. Do not drink your calories. Story 66. Calorie deficit and coffee made at home in large quantities can help suppress appetite without starving yourself. You will still eat food, but only once or twice a day. I personally lost 130 pounds doing this. It took me about 7 months, combined with a job in food service that kept me active. The key is diet, exercise, and willpower. Also, be willing to accept stretch marks. You will never be completely free of the damage you did. But I see them as a reminder not to let myself reach that point again. Story 67. Stop overthinking it. Find a path to lose more calories than you consume consistently. The more you drink water instead of calorie-filled beverages, the fewer calories you need to burn through exercise that day to achieve this goal. The same applies to replacing a sandwich and potato chips with a salad for one meal a day. Eventually, the exercise routine and healthy meal replacement become easier. There is nothing to it but to do it. Story 68. I used to smoke a lot of cannabis from high school through age 30. I still use cannabis now, but I also used to a lot back then. I was very lazy, ate poorly, and did not take my fitness seriously until I turned 30. I have many tips to share. For reference, I started losing weight at 220 pounds, at a height of 5 feet 9 inches. I am male. I am now 160 pounds, have gone through multiple bulking and cutting periods, and am finally happy with my appearance for the first time. Having six-pack abs for the first time in my life is very satisfying. Fitness is a marathon, not a sprint. Find a form of exercise that you enjoy and can do consistently. Many people think you need to starve yourself or run long distances daily to lose weight. That is not true. It is about finding an activity you like that you won't get burned out from and doing it as often as possible. Even if you only have 30 minutes a day to exercise, there are plenty of options. 2. Weigh your food and log it in an app like MyFitnessPal. You may be surprised how much you eat until you set a target and monitor your intake. I have maintained a streak of over 500 days on MyFitnessPal. It has become a fun daily challenge for me. 3. You cannot out-exercise a poor diet. However, if you eat healthy for 90% of your meals, you can enjoy whatever you want for the remaining 10%. Want a cheeseburger and fries? Go ahead. Want pizza and beer? Go ahead. Following an aggressive diet 100% of the time will burn you out. Allow yourself 1 to 3 cheat meals per week. It will not harm your progress. 4. It took me a long time to learn this. The work you do in the gym or during exercise, whether it is 30 minutes of walking or an hour of weightlifting, is important, but the 23 hours following are critical. Eat to support your goals, prioritize rest and recovery, and allow yourself to heal. I follow a bodybuilding approach to lifting because it is fun for me and consistent. However, time outside the gym is equally important. When I started, I believe volume was key: 90+ minute sessions, 20+ sets, which led to injury and fatigue. Now, I lift for a maximum of 45 minutes, do 20 to 30 minutes of cardio, and then focus on rest and nutrition. Time spent not exercising is just as important. Ultimately, it comes down to finding something you enjoy, being consistent, and monitoring your diet. Daily habits matter. The concepts are simple, but actually doing them is challenging. Do not overdo it at the start to avoid injury or burnout. Story 69. Count calories. Just estimate. It does not have to be perfect. The secret to losing weight is not getting all the counts perfect, but instead bringing your consumption into conscious thought. Story 70. Get a hormonal panel. Low testosterone, low estrogen, high estrogen, all different across the various genders, but all of these can cause fatigue, depression, weight gain, and metabolic problems. Second, supplements. Not just a multivitamin, but real supplements that the body often lacks. N-acetylcysteine, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, acetyl-L-carnitine, gamma-aminobutyric acid, 5-hydroxytryptophan, phosphatidylserine, highly recommended. These all help reduce stress, increase cellular energy, and lower cortisol. Take inositol and berberine for blood sugar regulation. Take citrulline, arginine, and creatine daily to boost vascular and muscular growth instead of your body storing excess fat. Collagen, electrolytes, and branched-chain amino acids are also beneficial. If you tend to binge eat or overeat, try konjac root, glucomannan. Third, diet. Cut out sugary drinks and reduce your carbohydrate intake. Focus on eating high protein. Caloric count is less important than ensuring enough protein and fat in your daily diet. In the past 3 months, I have lost 30 pounds of fat and gained 10 pounds of muscle. I changed only my food intake to higher protein, lower carbohydrates, and started hormone therapy and supplements. My mental health has improved, my anxiety is gone, and I look and feel better than I have in over 10 years. Story 71. Reduce calorie intake, decrease sugar consumption, stay hydrated, and avoid starting with extreme restrictions. Decrease portion sizes and eat more vegetables. Story 72. Slow and steady. You are in no rush, so even if it starts with just losing 1 pound every 2 weeks, you have to start somewhere. Story 73. Quantity and quality. Eat the right amounts of the right foods. It is that simple. Also, be active. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.